Yeah, the podcast that never ends. Right? I'm in a secret location near Calaverick Castle, home of the Wars of Independence when they got hung out the windows, didn't they?
Did they?
Apparently, aye. And well, that's quite good. So I'm with my guest today is Alex Hardy, music producer, musical genius.
Thank you.
No, I thought it was quite synchronistic how the wee Synth Diaries thing popped up in my memories. So, and I met you today. So, some of that music, just as a wee preambled, some of that music still. Well, a lot of it stands up for me because I heard a wee taste of that. Some of it's still good.
Nice one.
The power of if anything's good, it'll last. If anything's.
Yeah, I can't remember what was in that Synth Diaries video.
Yeah, I should watch it. No, it was me basically saying, and you were agreeing, I think you felt exactly what I was saying, because you were struggling with da-da-da, and I was saying that didn't need to worry because there's a fire burning, as Katy Perry said. In other words, it's always on. I was saying the creative fire, if you're that creative-minded person, so the fire's always simmering.
Aye.
So I think we were talking about like the struggle to be the muse, the struggle to get creative, the struggle to be productive, and I was saying, right, it's always there, don't worry, relax, as Martin Offord says, don't panic, because it comes to you, get out of your own way, it'll come, and I was saying, all the energy builds up like a volcano, and it comes out anyway, so there's no need to worry. It was a wee motivational thing to do with using creativity, but anyway, but enough of that shit. So what were we talking about before we went live? That was supposed to loosen me up, but we're a bit where are we going with this? But
well, what I've been thinking about is my motivational issues and stuff.
Yeah.
Or it's meant to be one of the symptoms of schizophrenia.
Is motivation.
Yeah.
Motivate. Ken, one of my favourite bands, Sum 41. Ken, the motivation.
Right.
Situations never what you wanted to be. Down. But you didn't like them.
I'm not a big fan of Sum 41.
Aye. No, I'm being kind of funny, G.
No worries.
I didn't really like them, but
yeah,
I like a good pop song. Aye.
Music snobbery.
Music snobbery.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, because see what works. See if I put the phone right, and then you go, I didn't like looking to see if anyone's live, it puts me off.
Aye.
But what's brilliant about, I've said before, what's brilliant about my lives is that invariably no one is live with me.
Aye.
So, because no one gives a fuck, so that frees you up.
Yeah.
But we didn't give a fuck. Frees you up, but we don't give a fuck anyway, do we?
Yeah. I think the fire is a better thing to look at on video. Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
But anyway, motivation. So, have you suffered from bad motivation?
Well, I'm diagnosed with schizophrenia, right? And one of the
well, that's just your opinion.
It's not my opinion. It's the opinion of the doctors that have been diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of the symptoms that I fit the diagnostic criteria.
Yeah.
Or I have in the past.
Well, there's another one. We were talking about that before, about the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, and that's that, isn't it?
Aye.
So you have to have a certain number of the criteria to meet the mental health diagnosis, right? But we were talking about, right, the system, and how the system judges things as being, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
No one's trailblazing to find solutions,
Yeah.
For the risk of going deep with this, right? Ram Dass talks about when he was a counsellor in health medication, he was a psych, and to quote him, he was like, he admitted it. He was like, he needed the patient. It's kind of like master slave,
Right.
The patient. He needed that patient. I'm the solution. I'm the professional. You're the patient.
Yeah.
And he was saying he needed them almost to be sick to keep him in his position of power.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
he admitted that that's a kind of power dynamic that's a bit fucked up. That the psychologists, there's an element. I'm not saying it's all like this, but there's an element where they want to keep perpetuating it. So are they helping you, or are they keeping you stuck?
Sure, it's a kind of paternalistic kind of thing, isn't it? Like a paternalistic, like kind of like a toddler playing with their toy doll sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like,
That's a funny way to put it.
yeah, but it's kind of like that, where you know how like a toddler will get a plastic doll and then it'll start patronising the doll, even though it's a baby itself.
Problem reaction
Even though it's
solution. I'll create the problem, I'll amplify the solution
Yeah,
to make
yeah.
you the issue. So that
Yeah.
I feel great about myself. I'm in this position of authority and power, I'm well educated and I provide the solution. But to what extent are you actually asking the patient to help me? Maybe because you're a very intelligent person, right?
Right.
Your experience with that mental health, how do you know that you can help them reach the solution? Are they looking?
Sure, exactly.
Are
Yeah,
they looking?
yeah.
Do they want? It's like the fire brigade.
Yeah.
The fire brigade needs fires to keep them in a job. I'm just playing with this, right?
Yeah.
So the counsellors need you to be mental health to keep them in the job. Because if the goal of mental health is to make folk well,
Yeah.
surely the ultimate goal should be the eradication of all this mental health. So they should be finding a solution rather than perpetrating it.
Yeah.
To what extent is that going on?
Yeah,
And to what extent could you be the solution?
Sure. Well, the only thing I've known to do so far is just basically speak my mind. Is to speak my mind about what I think about things. But
as Christina Aguilera said, keep speaking your truth.
Sure, definitely.
That's the solution.
Yeah.
That's adding to the solution, isn't it? If you're speaking your truth.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. But,
No worries though. No worries. See, the thing is, see what you were saying there about the patient dynamic, the hierarchical dynamic, the paternalistic dynamic between the patient and the therapist.
Yeah.
I was pretty much saying really similar things.
Yeah.
Really sort of adjacent things to that. To the nurse today. She took it very well. But basically, what I was saying, she was still sort of, because that patient doctor hierarchical dynamic is sort of normalised in the hospital. It's a lot less now than it has been on previous admissions. This admission, it's actually broken down for the first time. More than it ever has previously, and it's actually been a very good stay.
Right? How do you know?
Hospital.
Kind of how do you know that you didn't influence that?
It'd be a lovely thought to think that I had.
But because you were talking earlier on about if you're being a better person, then you make your community better. Right? How do you know that you're no one of the kind of? They might look up to you. They might go, "This guy's fucking highly intelligent. He's very creative, insightful."
Right.
Well, that's why. I'm not just saying that. So you aren't. Do they? People's poor perception of you.
Yeah.
People have a tendency to project their own poor perception of people, and are they seeing the real you, right?
Sure.
So,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do they see what your contribution is, and have they? I wonder if they have. I wonder, but they wouldn't admit it, would they?
Aye. Well, I don't know. I don't know if they would or not. They haven't admitted it yet, but they might at some point in the future. The thing is that, what you're talking about is very important, and it's actually key. You're talking about something which is actually completely key, which is putting me in the driver's seat of my own recovery.
Yeah.
You know, but So what would really be good is a total leveling of that hierarchical dynamic until it's not hierarchical anymore.
Yeah.
It's completely horizontal, and it's it can be totally open-minded, honest, and egalitarian. You know.
Yeah.
But I was echoing what you just said there. I was saying the same thing to the nurse today, and she took it very well.
Okay.
But I was basically saying the cause of the mental illness. They've sort of mistaken the symptom for the cause, in the form of this chemical imbalance thing and stuff.
That's an effect.
That's an effect. It's not a cause.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Because you want to ask what's causing the chemical imbalance. It's basically.
It's usually trauma.
Yeah, trauma. And
we've all seen fucking what's his name. Gabor Mate. We know the
Yeah,
script.
Gabor Mate.
We know
Yeah,
the
yeah,
script.
yeah. We know the script. Yeah. We all know. Yeah. But it's not simply. Well, I mean, it is simply trauma, but it's also the social dynamics you live in, like
The environment.
Yeah, the social environment, and the social environment that you're contributing to.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So
Yeah.
so like like I mean, the thing is, see, I mean, loads of people come to harm and get traumatized or whatever. But the trauma is actually it's not just inflicted; it's very often maintained. You know, because a lot of people, if they got hurt, but the trauma was resolved, they would not stay traumatized.
Yeah.
You know, so basically, like the type of group dynamic or social dynamic which inflicts trauma is a hierarchical one, a secretive one, and a closed-minded one.
Okay.
And once that harm's been inflicted, it's a hierarchical, closed-minded, and secretive social dynamic which maintains that trauma.
Yeah.
So, like, basically, like if you're harmed,
there's a lot of
yeah.
There's a lot of people invested in the status quo because the status quo, to some extent, is related to our current understanding in the profession of.
Yeah.
So we want the status quo because if things change, we wouldn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
But sorry,
100%. 100%.
So
100%. But that, like, yeah. So, like, if you're traumatized, that trauma can be resolved within the social, within the social setting of the people in your life.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're traumatized, especially if you're traumatized by the people in your life,
you don't want to be around them.
Yeah. You don't want to be around them. Yeah, but if the social dynamic between you and the people in your life is one which is completely open-minded, completely egalitarian, and completely unsecretive, that trauma can be resolved a hell of a lot more quickly, you know?
Yeah.
One of the reasons why my trauma has sort of been trapped inside me for so long is simply because of how fiercely hierarchical, fiercely closed-minded, and fiercely secretive the social dynamic of the people in my life is, you know?
Yeah.
It's the most fucking hierarchical family ever. It's the most closed-minded family ever.
Yeah.
And it's the most secretive family ever.
Yeah.
You know, they cannot just be open.
Yeah.
They cannot just be open.
Yeah.
Like, my dad has never sat and just said, given a current report about how he is thinking and feeling to me. You know, so, he cannot do that.
So the problem is, right, the people that have caused the problem are not ready. Let's just say that. Are not ready to be part of the solution.
Sure.
You need the solution. You were talking to me about you need some of the people that were part of the cause of the problem to willingly be part of the solution to your issues, right?
Sure.
So if they're not willing to and they're still closed-minded and there's no progress, what do you do about that? Do you try to open them up, or do you try and find another way?
What I'm doing right now is just being grateful as fuck that I've still got them, you know? Being grateful as fuck that I've still got them.
Well, that's quite big of you because I suppose you're seeing them as human beings.
Yeah, they are human beings.
Even though they probably didn't act.
The thing is
very well, and you know they maybe didn't deserve your respect, but you've still got respect for them.
Yeah, well, I maybe don't have as much respect for them as I want to have.
Yeah.
But I have. I do love them, and they do love me.
Yeah.
And basically, nobody else is going to be with me for life. You know.
Aye.
Nobody else is going to be there with me for life.
Well, you never know.
I'd be very lucky to have somebody who's.
Well, I'm sure we'll still be pals.
Yeah, we'll still be pals.
We might not spend every day together, but we always have big gaps, and then we always meet up again.
Yeah. But I mean, I did cut them out of my life for 5 years.
Right.
But thankfully they took me back.
Yeah.
After I cut them out.
Yeah.
And they have made compromises and concessions.
Well, that's good.
They have made, and they are trying. It's just that because they're so secretive, it's very difficult for me to know how difficult it is for them to be open-minded, unsecretive, and egalitarian. You know.
Yeah.
I'm asking something which is very difficult of them. You know, it's very it's going to be very difficult for them to really open up about a lot of stuff, and to really take on board how seriously things have gone wrong.
Yeah.
You know, how seriously, because like I said, if you're already quite emotionally burdened, and you've been brought up badly, and that's partly what's to do with your emotional burden.
Yeah.
And then you unthinkingly replicate this very bad behaviour. And then somebody confronts you, and then says, "You did this. This was wrong." It's very difficult to then, when you're already carrying all the burden of it all,
to not be triggered,
to be to fully take on board what that angry person is saying.
Yeah.
You know, and fully to fully let it sink in the wrong that you've done. You know,
there's a huge chasm between you and them.
Yeah. So it's a very difficult thing to do, especially if you've never been supported or encouraged to do that. You know.
Yeah.
You know, because my parents have they have an attitude of, they have a kind of policy almost of don't think or say anything bad, especially not about yourself, and always just keep busy with more cheerful things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
toxic positivity.
Yeah, but apparently that was one of the attitudes that Theodor Adorno looked for when he was trying to identify who might be a fascist.
Okay.
Is that you don't examine problems or interrogate them, especially not problems with yourself. You just think about more cheerful and happy things, and you do that forever.
Okay.
You know, you do that.
Right. So
if you're a fascist, that's like a more fascist thing to do. You know.
Because it's unaddressed issues.
Yeah.
Because I look at Hitler and without being glib and Hitler with a kind of, on one level you could go, well, it's good to rise up and feel powerful and feel good about yourself. Yeah. But there's an example of that, isn't it? He didn't address his. I think we're talking about the shadow self, and
the shadow self.
You're not addressing certain issues.
And also his dad. His dad was obviously quite a fucking a grievously abusive person to Hitler, you know, to Adolf Hitler.
No one's breaking the pattern.
Yeah, he wasn't breaking the pattern in any way.
I've tried to break the pattern. I think I've done no bad. I think you've done no bad as well. We broke certain. That's what I've been watching videos like this and talking about breaking generational trauma. Because it's true, isn't it? It just passed on and on and on. And surely the trailblazers are the people who break certain bad patterns.
Yeah.
And not be scared to look at, like you're saying about open. Let's be open, honest. There is a problem here. There is an issue here. I want to be part of the solution, and I'm trying my best in my own way to see. But if other people don't think there is a problem, think you're the problem. My idea is that exit from that. Because you can't change people,
No.
Some of my family members, I'm going.
You can keep the door. You can keep the door open for when they're ready to say, "I fucked up."
And they may never be ready.
They
may never be ready. Like I've talked about quite openly about. So I'm not going to mention again, but just say generally family members. Certain family members that I'm going. No, you are the problem. Sorry. Because at a certain point, I think, right, see, when you become an adult, the responsibility is on you.
Yeah.
And I think what you were saying before, I had a wee insight with, not an insight, but just a way of looking at it, where I think certain people get worse and certain people get better. There's a is it diverging of the, like Man Street preaches, the gap that grows between our lives, right?
Yeah.
So you go a certain path, seeing there's a problem, you're trying to find a solution.
Aye.
The other person don't think there's a problem, so they just get worse. They get more
sure,
and more entrenched in their
yeah.
How
And that
can
can
you possibly
that can have a very ugly end. That can have a very ugly end.
Yeah, because I was seeing there's a YouTuber talking about things can go from 0 to 100 very quickly.
Yeah, they were absolutely 100%. Yeah,
and then you're right back to that trigger that started the whole fucking thing. You know. So my philosophy is certain people are just totally different, and they're always going to be that way.
Yeah.
So people are just different. It's like apples and oranges.
Yeah. I mean,
I think we were born into the wrong family.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
I'm not trying to sound like I'm so much better, but I'm seen as an alien. I'm seen as a weirdo.
Yeah.
I don't think I am. I think I'm pretty normal. I think I'm pretty sound, you know. I've healed more than other family members.
Yeah.
And I'm looked at as like an issue. You've got issues. It's like, well, I've done all this creative stuff. I've had my achievements.
Yeah.
Surely that proves.
So are they saying you've got issues in the sense that they don't? Are they not aware of their issues?
I think there's an element of, seems to be an element of sort of arrogance, of like I'm just what we're talking about, the institutional thing, the hierarchical people in the system. They think they're so. I'm so sorted because I'm doing well. Like the success is a salary and a job and a mortgage. So you're not on that path, so you're a failure.
Yeah.
But my goal was never money. Obviously, you look after yourself, but my goal was, I think I've got issues that I need to fix. So I'm like, I'm going to dig deep to deal with this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. People have been telling me at the psychiatric hospital, and I've been agreeing with them. It's been making me think, which is quite rare for somebody says to me in the psychiatric hospital. But it does happen though. They were saying, you know, it's just a very difficult thing for people to take on board how much they are causing the problem. You know? Yeah. It's just like I'm not saying like it's like I'm not saying that in a way of putting them down. I'm just saying like it is actually a very difficult thing to do. If you're locked into a certain way of being, and someone's saying like actually you're causing a problem, it's very difficult to get to that stage where you're like ready to consider the idea that they could be correct. You know, it's very difficult to do that. And I'm beginning to appreciate more and more as I have gotten to know my parents, as I have got to know them better, just how difficult it would be for both of them to even think that way. Yeah. Because they would have to be thinking, holy shit, I'm going to have to accept the fact that I've made my son schizophrenic. So then it's almost like you be traumatizing them. Yeah, like, just revenge. Traumatizing them just by being accurate. You know? You know, it's really difficult. But like, I want to support them through that somehow. If they can ever be ready to be like, wait a minute, we should not have done that. And if they can ever get to the point where like, we should not have done that, and we did do it, and keep both those things consistent of like, yes, we did do that, yes, we should not have done that. And like, and yes, we understand better now not to do that to other people. But at the moment they're still not at the point where they're like, I mean, they say things, they give me lip service. The thing is that they love me, right? They love me, and I love them, right? This is why we're still making the effort. You know, We love each other. The thing is, though, that it really it's really difficult.
That's a good fire, isn't it?
Yeah. It's really difficult for it's really difficult to get like I say, they don't have any practice at all at just giving a current report about what they are genuinely thinking and feeling.
Yeah.
Every single thought that comes into their head is, should I think this? Should I think this? Or should I say this?
So
should I say this?
I think you could almost look at them as looking at people like that sort of with a bit of pity. That must be healing, because you go, Jesus, you're so emotionally immature. I'm in some ways you're more mature than them. So that because I think I've used that myself. I'm going, I treat it as a not badge of honor. Well, in a way, a badge of honor, because I'm reasonably in touch with my emotions, and I'm quite.
No.
That's one of the positives that comes out of trauma. At least you work. At least you go, I know what the problem was, so I know to be more in touch with how you're feeling and thinking. To actually be in touch with that is a good thing. So that's progress, isn't it?
Yeah, it is progress. Yeah.
So you could look at that as being. Yeah.
It's such a beautiful moment, this, isn't it?
Yeah. Ah, it's quite good. Oh, who's this? Oh, we've got someone coming up. Come and join the podcast. No, I don't. But yeah, so. Aye, so. Oh, she's got her camera out as well, so. So is it partly? So what I'm trying to say, it's a bit of a leading question. Is it partly healing and partly triggering?
No, the triggering's already happened. It's more healing now. Like
that's progress. Yeah.
But I've only been able to get to that point of not being triggered through understanding them, you know, and why they are like that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so I am getting more and more context as to why my mum and dad are the way they are. Like for instance, like I only found out 6 months, not 6 months ago, about 6 weeks ago or something like that. No, about 12 weeks ago. I found out that my mum grew up in a house with a schizophrenic auntie.
Okay.
You know, so my mum is kind of normalised people being schizophrenic in her family. You know, and not having it all sort of addressed and the truth all coming out about everything and all that kind of thing. You know.
Okay.
So like, her auntie was schizophrenic.
Right.
Something obviously happened to her auntie, you know?
Yeah.
To make her schizophrenic. And it obviously was something that her family was not comfortable being out in the open about.
So do you think, do you think, I mean, I don't know what the research says, right?
Yeah.
And I suppose the profession would probably say, well, your opinion means fuck all, but I'm just going to ask you, right?
Right.
Do you think it's to what extent is it genetic, and what extent do you think it's environment and situational?
Yeah, I think it's 100% environment and situational.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
I agree.
Yeah.
There may be a disposition, but I was saying before, I think because you're highly intelligent. I don't know. We could get into that deeply, but I don't know. Is it worth it? Like, I think, I know, like, I'm looking back at my life and I'm going, I've suffered a lot of abuse, that more than my siblings, and I'm going, that's environmental. You're the youngest, you get bullied, and that creates mental illness and folk getting away with certain behaviours, toxic behaviours that were just passed down through the family, and you go, that's not acceptable, that behaviour. And I think I was the sanest out of a lot of them, because I was never trying to do anything bad to anyone, but I didn't slag off family, but not all family. I'm talking about certain behaviours and stuff that's passed on.
Yeah.
So that's 100% environmental.
Yep.
Plus the equation of you as a person. Maybe you're more of a target or more of a sometimes I think it's the people that are different, or I don't know.
Aye.
In society, that's what happens, isn't it? People that
a lot of the times the roll of the dice actually.
Could be that.
It's the roll of the dice as well. Like
yeah.
I'm
not saying I'm special, but I'm just saying. I'm certainly. What I'm saying is, I don't think I've deserved the treatment I've had. Same with you, don't you? Deserve the treatment.
You 100% haven't, like.
Yeah.
You
and I could go into it, and it still continues, and I go.
Yeah.
I did a jokey wee video about like He-Man, and I said, I'd like to knight you, Sir David, for all your contributions to art and sport, and I've just been having a laugh. But I'm going, I contribute. Like I was watching a Tupac interview, right? Tupac for the 90s. It was class. It was like a 40-50 minute interview.
Yeah.
And he was going. The interviewer was asking him questions. He's going, lame fucking questions. Look, if you've not got anything decent to ask me, don't ask. He's going, sitting there going, I've had the struggle, And he's like going, I can say whatever I want, and he's like setting the tone, and he's going, I've been through so much shit, and now I'm like the king, and it is sort of like that. It was a class interview, and one of the things he said was, he goes, because the interviewer was saying, some of the critics are saying, is it going to be more positive and doing it? And then Tupac goes, all my shit's positive.
Yeah.
Right, and that resonated with me, because I'm going, I've done nothing but put positive as I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, I've done maybe the odd thing here and there. Maybe my heart was in the right place, right?
Right. Okay. Right.
But I believe I've put out a lot of positive shit. Like your music was pretty badass, Yeah.
And
I'm not saying I'm all that. I'm just saying I've had the attitude of try to do something. Helped me.
Yeah.
Might have helped the other person, I'm not saying I'm any kind of genius or anything, but like I know I've put positive shit out.
Yeah.
So why was I saying that? Because you were talking about something. I forget what made me say that, but related to a point you were saying. But
about schizophrenia being environmental.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, social environment.
Aye. So
yeah.
So the point about that is, I feel like I'm looking at this body of work, and I'm going, I know I'm a good person, right? So why are the good people that are trying to do good shit getting the most abuse?
Yeah.
I think that's what happens. Like, why isn't it the cunts that are getting hassled? And I feel like, I'm not doing woe's me, but I'm saying I think I've made an effort to contribute as the way I wanted to,
Yeah, and it's been a struggle. It's taken a great amount of
effort,
bigness in you to do that. Yes.
Well, thanks very much. But it's the same with you. That I was saying before. When you're making all your fucking music, you're up all night in the zone, fucking exhausted. And you're struggling with your mental health, and you're still able to produce that music. It's kind of amazing. So, I think the art therapy thing is a way of, well, it is therapy, innit? It's trying to get over. That's what I'm saying. We are that person. We're trying to find solutions to things, and we're trying to do good shit.
Aye.
At least that's what I think I've been doing.
But like,
so why are we the ones? I think all along, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I've been misjudged.
Yeah.
Totally misunderstood, misjudged by certain people.
Yeah.
I mean, so I've tried to make use art as a solution to a problem, and talking about the openness thing, right?
Yeah.
Art therapy is a way to get more open. It's the same with your music.
Sure.
You're quite open,
Yeah.
Which is quite a breath of fresh air. A lot of folk aren't like to be able to have a conversation and no holds barred,
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I really believe in that.
So we've done all right. We've done all right, I think.
I think like the uglier something is, the more it needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And like that is for me what has made me so unpopular.
Yeah.
Which has made me so unpopular. But I really sort of live by it because if you go down a path of let's never think about it or talk about it,
yeah,
it just leads to fucking mentalness.
yeah,
Honestly does.
yeah,
Honestly does. And it's unbearable. It's fucking unbearable. Like my mum was came round the other day,
yeah,
and she was going like ooh, ooh in this. I'm so happy, and you could fucking see it on her face, right? That something was deeply distressing her.
You can see through
yeah,
her.
you can see through. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, like, that she's so secretive that she will not say. She will not say to me what is distressing her. You know.
One, because she's your parent, so she never wants to be vulnerable in front of you.
Yeah.
Two, because she's the one with the issue. You know.
Sure. Yeah.
Toxic positivity, like we're saying.
The thing
before.
is, though, I won't mention the person's name while it's recording, but we know a person.
Okay.
And I have issue with that person. And
well, you tell me off camera.
No, you'd have to stop recording before if we were to talk about it. But you'll know how to talk about when I say it. I had an issue with this person saying that I don't think this person's telling me everything. This person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't think this person's telling me everything. And I was saying how like I was quite a I was quite disappointed with that. I had picking up a lot of cues that they weren't revealing like some pretty key things about the things that they keep going on about. And I said that to my brother, and because I was also addressing my brother about stuff, and I was sort of exploding in a borderline personality sort of way.
Right.
And then he said to me, well, why would he tell you?
Yeah.
Why would he tell you? He would have to trust. I said, like, I can't trust this person because I can't trust this person because I know he's not telling me everything. And then he was like, well, you can't trust this person. First, he would have to trust you.
Yeah.
Before he would open up about it.
Yeah.
And he would have to trust you.
That's
so he would have to trust me not to be a borderline personality disorder.
Yeah.
He was going to tear him to shreds and judge him for it. Like,
yeah.
And actually, but it's like getting to that point where you can actually, it's getting to that point where you can actually be like, right, it's a fucking weird. I don't know how to actually frame it all in my mind. You know, I don't know how to frame it all in my mind, but I do get this very strong gut feeling that he is like, there's something very important which he is not telling me.
Yeah.
Like my brother said, because I was confronting him about something as well. Like my brother said, he probably would not open up to me about it unless he trusted me, and that would mean me not judging him and tearing him apart or whatever he thinks I'm gonna do.
That's true.
You know, so but like I say, I don't know how else to confront certain things other than being like
direct.
Yeah, but not just being direct, but being actually kind of bollocking somebody or something, or like being extremely strident. Like the thing is with me and my parents is that I'm not just judgmental, I'm grudge-mental. You know, a good word, I've got a fucking grudge. I've got a grudge. Yeah.
We studied all this unit about like
right.
In the argument, rhetoric and theory class, we studied like the ancient Greek philosophers and the whole idea about about rhetoric and how.
Aye.
I mean, I'm butchering it, but just the basic idea that emotion and argumentation.
Yeah.
That emotion is not a bad thing because it drives you.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're cognitive bias. It means that you're driven by
Yeah.
Like. It's all very well to be rational, but you're driven by the desire to sort of fix a
100%,
problem.
yeah.
And I think what you need is courage, but you also need a driving emotion behind it, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
used in the right way.
The thing is that emotion is a reality of being human, or being an animal.
Yeah.
It's a reality. You cannot escape emotion. It always plays a part.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't escape it.
Aye,
you can't escape it.
Yeah, and what we were talking about before with certain issues with people not facing up to things, as a lack of people being in touch with our emotions. Like, if I could just quote the art teacher from 6 Feet Under, right? He's like, do you know the difference between anger and passion? Right?
No.
Sometimes there's a crossover.
Aye.
Passion sometimes comes across angry, right?
Yeah.
But what I've learned is getting it out is fucking healthy.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at other folk that are stifled, and they're looking at me like I'm the problem, and going, no, I'm part of the solution, because like being open with your emotions and being able to go is extremely healthy.
Yeah.
Not going out and on the street and fucking but doing it in a even if you're arguing with someone and you're driven by something, you can be forceful without being rageful. You're forceful in your point. You say, no, listen, don't interrupt me, listen to me when I'm speaking. Please don't interrupt me. That's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
A lot of times folk don't want to control, like Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose.
Aye.
I'd like to dedicate this song to those who try and control and manipulate you. You know, the government, your friends, your family, or anyone else who chooses to fuck with you. You know, people that are controlling, want to shut you down.
Aye.
You're quite open. You're expressive. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You should be teaching them about opening up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I am trying to teach them. Like, I've tried to show them by example, just by being extremely open.
Yeah.
And I'm incredibly open. Some people would say I'm open to a fault, that I'm an oversharer and all this shit.
But I'm an oversharer. I'm like that as well. I'm exploding with. I mean, it's no like Picasso, right? I'm not saying it's Picasso, but at least it's my truth.
Yeah.
And it's just pouring it. It's coming out the pores. It's like.
Yeah.
That's cool. Folk can't handle it.
The thing is, I'm quite aware that sometimes I do overshare.
Me too.
Especially about sexual matters, I way overshare at times.
But look at all these comedians and people like that. They go deep, and it's like that big open sore, that big scar, that big open wound, and they're laying it bare. That's the job of an artist, is it not?
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're on that level, but it's the same thing, isn't it? It's the same thing. Like having a job of an artist is to lay out a thing and shed new light on it.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what comedians fucking do. We were watching a thing with Billy Connolly, a thing. It was like a documentary, and he was talking about that. It takes courage doing it as well. Like, he would do his skits and everything, and he would play with it in the moment and try to win over an audience. That's being open. Try to, what I'm trying to say is, right, these comedians and people in public eye, right, they get rewarded for that.
Sure.
You and I, to quote you, get fucking punished for it.
Well,
it's the same shit, is it not?
Yeah.
You and I have been funny at times,
I've been rewarded for it as well.
So have I, to
I've
be
been
fair.
Rewarded,
let's not get the violin out. You're right.
Yeah, I've been rewarded as well. Yeah.
I think part of how I've been rewarded is you sometimes laughing at my stuff.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
Yeah. And I've laughed at stuff you've done. Like, remember that biscuits? Eat the fucking biscuits. That was hilarious.
Aye.
And you weren't trying to be funny, but
I like to fucking. I like that thing
comedian.
you did. I like that thing you did with Drew.
Aye, which one?
The one that Drew directed.
Aye.
But like I also liked I like all the 16-time signature drumming.
Aye, the beatbox.
But I also liked the Thatcher beatbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though I hate Margaret Thatcher, I thought
Yeah.
it was hilarious. The Margaret Thatcher beatbox.
Well, that's what I mean.
And,
I was just trying. I was making an effort, and I was just see what gets the reaction. You know.
And I liked the 16-time beatboxing as well as the 16-time drumming. Yeah, and I was like, this is something I've never encountered before.
There you go.
Yeah. I've never encountered a beatboxer beatbox in that time signature.
Aye, so that's what I'm saying. It's like we're getting into art therapy territory, which is not a bad thing to get onto, right? Because we're talking about therapy and issues, mental health, right? Well, what's the fucking solution? Art therapy.
Aye.
You've done it through music. I've done it through videos and stuff and other stuff. And it's the Drew thing. That was a collaborative piece, right? And that illustrated a lot to me, because it was like he's come up with the idea. He's got that kind of genius kind of director mind. I mean, it was a genius wee idea. It was a simple idea. I'm not talking Alfred Hitchcock, but it was the idea that he came up with it.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have done. We couldn't have done that on our own. You know, it was a collab, and we created. And what was cool about it is we didn't spend that much time thinking about it. We just did it. Yeah.
Aye.
So. So is kind of they talk about pop songs and stuff. They say, did the lyrics come first? Did the music come first? And all that. Do you think good art should take a long time, or does will you the stuff you've done, has your best stuff come up? Have you come up with it quickly in the moment, or have you spent a lot of time on some of it?
It's from like a long gestation period.
Aye.
And then I'll splash it all out after a long gestation period of getting inspiration and but I mean like decades of like some stuff. It'll be like a baby I've been carrying for decades, and then I'll splash it all out and it'll be like, where did that come from? Well, it's actually been gestating for decades. And it's now that I'm striking by the iron spot. You know, and like that's basically it. Like I've got loads of stuff that I've been gestating for even more decades, and like I was still to do the piece that I've always wanted to do, and I'm not talking about music, although like I've always wanted to write to draw comics, right? And I'm getting closer now to the point where I can like, you know how Batman, like, he went out and he trained and he trained and he trained. Before he became Batman, he was training, and then he was training to become the greatest crime fighter and all this kind of stuff. And then he was like, he wasn't sure if he was ready or whatever. He needed something that was gonna make him become. And then the bat flew through the window. And then he's like, right, I know what to do now. And like he's like, right, I'm on it. I'm sort of like almost at the point I feel now where the bat is almost like coming through the window for me to do something which is really gonna say what I really want to say the way I want to say it, you know. And this is coming soon, hopefully, if I don't die. It's coming soon. It should be coming soon because because like, see, when I was young, I was like, oh, I want to be a writer, right? Or I want to draw comics and write them. But I was like reading books on how to write a story and stuff like that, you know. And then in this how-to book, it's like, I think it was like a Marvel Comics how-to book, how to write a story, because they were trying to headhunt for new artists and writers. It said an artist generally has something to say, you know. And like, I was about like 16 at the time. And I was like, I have fucking no idea what I want to say. You know, I have no idea what is true and what is false. Remember, I was like a 16-year-old who hadn't even had their first psychotic episode yet, you know? So, like, I had no fucking idea who I was or what I thought, or what I wanted to say. And I was like, I am fucking not a Scooby about what I think is true, what I don't think is true, and stuff like that. So there's no way for me to write a story and send a message that I want to actually send, because I've no fucking idea what I think and what's true and what's not.
Yeah.
And then it's only just now at the age of like, well, around the age of 40, say, or 41. I began to like really have a sort of clear ideology, a much clearer ideology of things that I wanted to say, you know? And I've got like a huge fucking
dick.
No, I've got a tiny dick, but like I've got a huge compendium. Not a huge compendium, but I've got like a really long list of things that I want to say, you know? Written down in a Word file.
That's good.
And I've got like a lot of things that I want to say.
I wish I was more organised like
that. Yeah. Aye.
Sorry to interrupt, but hold the thought, because I was flirting with the idea of writing some lyrics for songs and stuff, because I'll do stream of consciousness, right?
Aye.
And I come up with things, I go, that's a germ of an idea.
Yeah.
Right, so like today, you know, you're whatever it is, and you go, I've tried it before and I've not really done very well with it, and I go, maybe that's not my strong point, but there's nothing wrong with trying it, right?
Yeah. So
that's one area I need to work on, is like the kind of, not just blabbing off the top of my head, actually sitting down and try to write, write a script, write some songs, you know, because I think of like what you're saying, I think when you've got more life experience and you develop, you get older, there comes a time where you go, I think now is the time where I'm actually maybe ready to do things like that, you know. So you've basically got stuff written down that you think you could.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about them?
I'm further
keeping them to yourself at this stage.
I'm kind of keeping shit a secret because I want to blow everyone away. It's not going to happen though. Talking
about the oversharing.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point you make there, because I think I overshare and I'm giving my ideas out for free.
Yeah.
They're not like genius ideas, but they might be the germ of a genius idea.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's genius level, but do you know what I'm saying? That is there an element where I should be, see that it's a dichotomy or something?
Yeah.
I post this stuff up and it frees me up.
Yeah.
So I can do the next thing, right? So I worry that if I do this discipline, just keeping it to myself the whole time, I'd lose the momentum of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So is there a balance? I think I'm answering the own question. There might be a balance in it. Be disciplined, but still. But I like your idea of keeping it to your fucking self.
Sure.
No doing what I do, which I put stuff up that's rough and ready.
Maybe
I should craft it properly.
Yeah, I think that would be good. It'd be good to see it. It'd be good if you are in the mind frame to do that, you know?
Yeah.
If you're in the fucking jaggy leaves.
Because it's not really going anywhere. It's just for fun.
Well,
but you could craft something, couldn't you?
Like, see, when I was a teenager.
Aye.
Which
wasn't that long ago. It was just a couple of years ago.
No, see, when I was a teenager, and I was like, people were like, you're gonna have to work, Alex, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna work as an artist. And I was like, actually, being sort of perfectionist in my work, because I was like, nobody's gonna want to employ some shit artist and stuff.
Yeah, so it's got to be brilliant.
Yeah, it's got to be like the best I can possibly be and stuff like that. I was like that as a teenager. And I've still got work from when I was like that as a teenager.
Right.
But
so there's probably
But I've never put that level of effort in again. I've never put that level of effort in since I had my psychotic episode. Since I had my first psychotic episode at about age 21.
Right.
And I ended up in a security unit, you know.
Okay.
So I've never been able to commit and apply myself to anything to that level of caring.
Yeah.
Since I'm gradually working myself up to the point where I would be able to really Actually, I want to get to the stage where I'm blowing myself away again, you know?
Yeah.
Where I'm blowing myself away.
I think that I feel the same way, because I wouldn't say I'm blowing myself away, but sometimes I do stuff and it's just off the top of my head and I go, that was quite good, that.
Yeah.
That was quite good, that.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're saying it's, maybe the idea is like, actually work harder, like actually...
Yeah.
Because part of my idea is, right, like Buddy Rich was talking about, playing on stage, if it's too rehearsed and too that's not really playing.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that idea of, like, you didn't think about it, you just do it.
Aye.
Like doing an open mic and just off the top of your head you come up with something really cool, right?
That camera's not, it's playing at the...
Aye, it is that. Okay. Aye, so, is it should I, because I kind of think, is sitting down and crafting something and that's kind of cheating, is it? No, it'd be too easy, because I could easily, if I was sitting down, craft something really good. So that isn't cheating, is it? That's work. You're putting work in, aren't you? So maybe
it's called caring, you know.
Caring, aye, yeah.
It's called caring about what you're doing.
I do
care. As if it matters, you know.
Aye.
As if you're doing something that matters.
Well, I do stuff kind of freeform, but I try my best when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So it does matter to when I'm doing it, but maybe the idea is to, like you're saying,
yeah,
take a step back, take a break, start writing.
Yeah.
Start reading, watching stuff, listening to stuff, and come up with something, and then craft it.
Yeah.
And then,
but
you know,
there's also the part of like me and you are not really part of any creative community where we're getting feedback and stuff.
Well, we kind of are.
We kind of are, but like, you know, like we're not really part of any kind of movement or anything like that, or
but we kind of are.
You think so? Yeah.
Well, I've influenced a few. There's been a few folk that have dug what I'm doing.
Right. Okay.
It might not be. I might not be writing 5 Netflix films, but.
Aye.
I think. Well, there you go. I think it's time to step it up, man. It's time to
start a movement.
Start a movement. We're starting it right now.
But see if you get a movement going, right? You've got more people who care, you know. You've got more people who care, and you'll have more of an audience. You know, like how punks, they would all play in bands, and all the people in the audience would also be in bands.
Yeah, they'd all feed off each other. Yeah,
they'd all feed off each other. Yeah.
Aye.
And it became a movement.
Yeah.
Of people in bands who went to go see bands.
Yeah.
Who were in, you know, and then. It was like everybody was involved, and everyone was like, "Yeah, I've got this idea. We're going to do this, and like, yeah, man, go for it, go for it."
So do you think there should be more?
So like, yeah, there should basically be more of that. But like, I've been wanting to start something with the community centres in Dumfries, where it's just basically like a creative powwow where people can go and network and find other creative people. Yeah.
Well, I think
especially
the Stove's done that a little bit.
Right, okay.
I mean, we've been at the Stove, and you do feel the vibe. It's quite an arty party bit, isn't it?
Quite arty, but it's also quite top down in some ways.
Yes, you've got to start your own, because I popped in there, and I won't say who, but I popped in there and I went and spoke to someone that I hadn't spoke to before. I just went up to him and started talking to him, just briefly.
Yeah.
So I've done that in my own way. I was like, I just said hello, and I said, oh, I've seen you doing that was quite cool. So... But because I was talking about this with someone else the other day, there's a cliqueiness, there's kind of like the danger with anything like that is it becomes just like the society that you're in.
Yeah.
And you want any kind of movement like that to be the antithesis of that.
Yeah.
You want a movement to be free and open and and like the open micers and up in Glasgow or whatever.
Yeah.
So we need real in-person shit happening.
Totally, absolutely, 100%.
That's why I want to do open
100%.
micers, I want to do fringe, I want to do open micer and just do crazy shit, madcap shit, because nobody judges anybody. I did a sleazies thing once, right? It was like just like acoustic guitar and play, and there was all sorts of madcap shit going on. And it was like, I know with the stuff I've been doing, I've got a load of stuff in my head that I could turn up when they rehearsal and do something crazy, and no one would judge you, and it would. And you'd see other folk doing stuff.
Aye.
And that would it builds each other up, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So we need to do more of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it's definitely like a more free sort of thing, a more free and spontaneous and
well, just like this.
Yeah,
we didn't
yeah,
think too much about this. Aye,
yeah.
sorry, aye.
No worries. But what I was gonna say was like I would like to start these creative powwows at or creative meetups.
Yeah.
At community centres, and it would just be a place where people would come and tell other people what they're about.
Like a writers group, basically.
Yeah, it'd be a writers group, but it wouldn't be a lecture, you know.
Aye.
It would simply be a networking place where people could come and tell other people what they're about, and see who else was interested in similar sorts of stuff. You know, and see who else was interested in similar sorts of stuff, because I have a lot of stuff that I'm interested in. It's impossible for me to just like haphazardly meet folk who have got similar, who would care.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's exactly what I feel.
Exactly
what I feel, because I think there's no venue. There's no the right venue.
Yeah, but also, I mean, there's the internet, but I don't like the internet really. I don't really like the internet because it's not a fucking. There's no people on the internet.
Yeah,
they're not actual fucking people. They're like, because it's not a person to person, because it's not real, because it's fucking on the internet. Nothing on the internet is fucking real.
Yeah.
And like,
well, isn't it?
It's not real community. It's not real community. The internet is not real community. I'm talking like starting something which would be sort of real community, which came from inside each person who was attending.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, which is coming from inside them, in which they could tell people about what they fucking what they're about and what they care about, and like punk or hip hop or something like that, where everybody is fucking where people are communing, right? But it would be like creative communing, but it would be like something that wasn't as a sort of teenage based or early 20s based. It'd be more for like people who are like writers and directors, and even like engineers or scientists or philosophers or whoever, but just basically a place where people wanted to tell people about the shit that they cared about.
Yeah.
And it'd be a network where people would get to know each other, and they would get to know, they would maybe get to meet somebody else who cared about the same shit.
Yeah.
And actually cared about their shit, or cared about the other person's shit, enough to like start creative relationships.
Yeah.
In which people could work together towards creative goals, you know?
Yeah.
And it was something that was coming from the people, you know? It wasn't being, people weren't reading off a hymn sheet. It would be coming from inside people.
Yeah.
Getting out there to other people, you know?
So what would you do? Would you like everyone would get a chance to get up for 20 minutes and give their spiel and present and say this?
Basically,
yeah.
That's the only structure it would have. It would be like when people came in, somebody would be there explaining the concept of the powwow, you know?
Yeah.
Where somebody would come in, people would just come in, and they could even decide among themselves about how it should progress. But basically it would be like somebody would come in and say like, this is my stuff that I care about. This is my stuff. These are my ideas that inspire me. Does anyone else give a fuck about this? You know, or something like that, you know?
I like that idea, yeah.
Or you would get to know other creative minds. You'd be like, people would get to know you as a creative person. They would get to know, and like there would be a chance for some kind of movement to happen where people were passionate about the same ideas or very similar ideas, or found other people interesting enough to want to form some kind of working relationship with them to eventually work together on creative tasks.
Yeah.
You know, and complete creative objectives together.
Well, the one
ones
thing
that they fucking mutually spontaneously, symbiotically cared about me.
Aye. So, and it would be holding you to task, like say you build each other up, so it would, that's what they say. I had a creative friend that wanted to start a writing group just before COVID.
Yeah.
And she never actually did it, and she seems to have fallen off the, but that was a good idea. Locally, right, you've got the bands that practice up at near Easterbrook.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's quite good, isn't it? Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Oh, what a fag, I'm a tea.
Alright, let's go and do that. Right, thanks for tuning in. If anyone tuned in and managed to watch the whole thing, that's pretty good. Look at the glorious view. We're looking at the estuary. Absolutely beautiful. And stay beautiful and, right. Oh, slow connection. I can't hit the finish button. Next thing. Right.